Hello.
Hey there.
We just wanted to check in with you all at the 11th hour.
Yeah.
Um, we are presently entering into the first solar holiday of the year. We, in our openness and inclusion of all traditions, are referring to it as solar holiday number one. It is also called a number of different things, including Imbolc
hmm
in the Gaelic tradition, Candlemas or Candlemas in Christian traditions, which is a holy day. It's also in Japan referred to as Setsubun. I'm checking on my pronunciation. And it is a holiday in which they throw beans to cast out ill fortune and evil spirits from the previous year because it coincides with the new lunar year. Um, in American culture, February 2nd is known as Groundhog Day, which I find humorous and ironic, as it is a day that they pull an animal out of their home to see if it does or does not see its shadow. Curious. To thus determine how many more weeks of winter there will be. Um, so you can connect with this holiday from whatever perspective, tradition, and ways of engaging in ritual you like. And for us, I've known this time as first light. So it feels deeply connected to the winter solstice and that darkest night we passed through. And so today marks the return of the light that is carrying us forward to spring.
Totally. Yeah, that was really well said. I totally, agree with that last sentiment in particular. And one of the awarenesses that I think for me help understand um, the kind of context of solar holidays is that generally the tendency of the solar holidays has been to be linked with a mythological cycle. Anybody who's familiar with Joseph Campbell's work, or folks who are looking at comparative mythology, tend to point out certain trends and themes in let's just say in masculine mythologies. And so the solar holiday being in our particular work with ritual kind of aligned with a masculine energy, we are looking at the particular point in the wheel of the year, as it's kind of talked about, for the solar holiday that we're in right now. And so Biz just kind of beautifully mentioned the winter solstice, which is kind of like the top point of the circle, and then kind of one click of the wheel over, and we're entering into this new kind of between season points, right? It's between the winter and the spring. We find ourselves in this little middle point. And so in that way, what we have really found is that kind of aligns with this new growing, I think some of the words we were meditating on were like male womb, this like new growing nascent masculine energy that's kind of coming up in the world. And we were kind of meditating on the mythology around Horus and Osiris and Isis, and how the the Horus character, the god of the sun, like the king of the gods, so to speak, comes about through this union and goes through the growth cycle through the year and then descends and ascends. And so aligning with that has really then brought me into one final awareness, which is that we're talking about our relationship to the sun in the northern hemisphere. But in this different sort of inclusivity, we can imagine the line across what's going on in the southern hemisphere. The relationship to the sun is very different. It's late summer. And so, in that way, as we start to expand our awareness to a global awareness, we can expand our awareness of these solar holidays to be a global awareness of the sun and its relationship to our home. And, that really feels like a super important opportunity of this time of kind of cultural awareness and cultural interpenetration. And we, in particular, on a personal level, are always thinking about healing and integrating aspects of the masculine in relationship to the sun. There are lots of different ways to approach that, but as we present the kind of cross-cultural perspective on the holidays, we're also trying to present our individual service or work around our rituals, and our work around healing and integrating the divine masculine in both of us, in the universe, in all beings, is meant to bring us, I think, into alignment with what's being asked of in this time around transformation of self in order to lead to transformation of our relationship to the earth and the world and each other. And so while we do not, kind of want to impose that too much, we do want to share from our perspective, maybe some of the opportunities that can come about through these holidays.
I think one last thing that's occurring to me in this moment while I was listening to Matt speak was during the full moon video I shared about inward fullness, and that womb archetype really holds that energy for me of inward fullness. And so I'm meditating on that inward fullness that I experienced within my feminine energy for the full moon, and how I might hold that in my masculine energy for this solar holiday, and how through my presence of being I might support the larger masculine energy, the divine masculine energy, in holding an inward fullness to create, to hold emotion, to move it through the being as a gateway, and feeling that necessary softness and resilience and allowance, being how power can be held in a really healthy and just a way that doesn't perpetuate harm. So.
Yeah, important. And, I think for, all of us here, us too, we would really want to, just invite everybody into an exploration of and an honoring of the masculine impulses and aspects of self that might be present or showing themselves, and by forming closer and closer relationships with that aspect of self, we can then kind of bring those gifts more into the world. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, blessings. Thank you so much. Be well.
Enjoy the time.